the truth until like I really started going around other communities, and I started seeing like TMOA is really small compared to like the rest of the Ummah, you know. So man, you just really got to just wake up one day and just go around other Muslims, man. I think that's really all it takes, you know. I mean, I don't think I would be any different from anybody else, you know. I was raised on the land, walking around the land just like everybody else was, you know. So I'm not any different. So I feel like once because you know Allah says He doesn't change the condition in the people unless the people change the condition within themselves first. You know what I mean? Like you have to, you know what I mean? Take one step towards Allah, He'll take 10 towards you. You know, so you have to actually want to see the truth, and then Allah will show it to you. I feel like that's why a lot of these people are stuck. You know what I mean? That's how when I look at my brother Abdurrahman, I try to talk to him about it, and then he literally just won't say anything. Like he just.
Well, I mean, and again, you know, you really have to be, you know, you got to be mindful and careful about the situation, because you know, it didn't just happen yesterday, and remember that this man is already, you know, in our eyes, right? We don't have any way we're going to ask him point blank, like, what in the world is all of this? He's gone, right? And you really do have those who love him as they should be loving Allah.
Right.
They love him, so.
And you will see that once you go to, as soon as you go to another community, once you see how they, I mean, like we all say all communities that they all have their different problems, but I'll say that TMOA is the only community that I've ever seen that just puts another individual pretty much up there with they all don't put him up there with, like, you know, Allah, but I know that he's definitely up there. Like they talk about him as if he was a prophet, saying that he said that certain people have reached this level of Jannah, like that just passed away recently, you know what I mean? It's like he wouldn't have any knowledge of what Allah is doing with someone in the hereafter, you know what I mean? But that's only a problem that TMOA has.
Right. They believe that, you know, he's saying who's going into Jannah, and he also said that whomsoever got a cell phone for their unmarried daughters, then he's going to ask Allah to put them in hellfire. So yeah, there is that. But what I want you to understand and fully understand is that the elements that TMOA is using, or the elements that have been used to indoctrinate them, okay, is not going to be in other, especially like in our local communities around here, because the models are actually different, but they're feeding off of the same ignorance of people. In these centers, they don't have like a person that they're putting up there and worshiping, but who are they worshiping? They're worshiping politicians that they expect to get zoning from, or just to be, you know, in cahoots with, or, you know, just so that we can all feel like we won. Who are they pleasing, or who else are they worshiping? Other people, you know, before they do, or before they consider what it is that they're supposed to do with the masjid or anything, they always go, what are people gonna think? That's not your job. This is Allah's house. So what happens is that, yes, if you go to other communities, you'll get it out of your mind that there is no such thing as a Sikh Sultan and, you know, somebody, you know, Mujaddid of the century. Like, you're going to get that point. But what you're also going to have to get, what you're also going to have to accept, is the fact that they're not practicing Islam either. They're not practicing Islam any better. Not really. If you really want to, and that's the strange thing about the situation. That's like they're feeding off, like, you know, these different sects or these different groups that you have are feeding off of one another's ignorance. They're fighting, you know, each other, or they're, you know, contradicting one another as they stay together in hopes to ally, you know, stronger against the truth. So they have an advantage of staying together. That is, so anyone or any who think that they can raise up their necks to talk, these joint Iblisis, they fall on you. Joint Iblisi allies. But again, if a person really is in TMOA or even in another setting and they want the truth, they will use the brain that Allah Ta'ala has given them. They will make the supplication and they will seek for the truth. I mean, again, this is an absolute stranger. I mean, you never met the man. You never met him. You've seen him on Skype. And people were actually, we said, like, this man doesn't have good command of English. He can't put 3 sentences together. And somebody mentions, the fact that if you can't understand what you're saying, that means your heart is dark. Just look at that, that's strange. I mean, he's got a heavy Pakistani accent. His Arabic, his English, everything is a heavy Pakistani accent. But you're telling me if I can't understand somebody with a heavy Pakistani accent, it means my heart is dark? And again, if you don't see the miracle on the wall, you're a munafiq. If you did not travel to see the miracle in New York, you are a munafiq. If you gave your children cell phones, you're going to be prayed or you're going to be interceded on behalf of Murshid, Mr. M.G. Camille, so that you can go to hellfire. I mean, these are things that, again, when he was saying it, I guess he didn't realize that he was on video, or he didn't think that the day was going to come and people were going to be asking questions about it, or people are going to be making, concerns. They'll be addressing or stating their concerns, but that's where it's at. You're not here to defend your videos, but when you were here to defend your videos, you didn't do a good job then either. Looking all over in the books for something and then, saying outrageous things. And just wait until you finish understanding what's in the White Hawk. I mean, I had to read it a couple of times, but, if Abdul Qadir Jilani, again, really did write this, I just have to hope Allah forgives him. Because it fell into hands, and people, again, do not understand that when these Sufi, quote-unquote, mystics or poets are writing their poetry, okay, yeah, they could be in a state of mind where they feel that, they are, just one with Allah, just for the sake of saying it. Because that's what he says, that's what he asserts, right? But that doesn't mean that what he writes is going to make the next person feel the same way he feels, right? If I write something, I know what I mean by it better than anybody else, right? Better than any other human being, right? And that's supposed to benefit me because I wrote it. Naturally so. It's supposed to benefit me first and foremost. Would it be fair that I expect everybody who reads that to have the same understanding, to have the same intention that I have when I wrote it? Does that make sense to you? No, it doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
But again, he picked up this, he edited it, cut and edited everything else. Same thing here. He cut and he edited a bunch of writings that he thought or somebody sent to him. He put it in this book. And now, unfortunately, again, he made people believe that they're going to be at the Lahut Mukhut, whatever it is, where, you're traveling under the White Hawk. You've come up, all the secrets of the seen world, the created world, and the unseen created world. That means you went through.
We really need to figure out how to get this on some type of platform, because this is really...
No, that's why I have it on video. I'm gonna try and do better, you know what I'm saying, in terms of getting, because I have the book. I have his book. I was following the man for a long time, and I wanted to know what he was about. So I have his book. And, again, Allah Ta'ala decides how, what, where, who, when. But definitely, and a lot of people need to understand that, I'm going to be bringing this information to the forefront. Mainly because people, they think that they have some type of spiritual base or Sufi, label. until they understand what is inside, they should not assert themselves to any of this. Because he just picked up a chain, but he never had the chain, since he did not have a physical sheikh to give him that chain to continue on with. So that means he picked it up from somewhere. But now nobody's around to ask him. He took that with him to the grave. He didn't get it from the Holy Quran either, you know. But we established all of that. So now, again, as I mentioned to you before, you know, the information is coming out clearly as to the fabrications in it. And what many people need to understand, because I heard somebody on R2F say, do not just look at the truth in what he's saying, realize that there's false. No, the whole thing is false. The whole thing is false. If you take some Quran and you put it into somewhere, it has nothing. You're just trying to make it look nice so that people can, the whole thing is false. You take something, you add it into ayat of the Quran, and you say this is no Quran anymore. You can't take out and add things on to the Quran as you like. You see the problem.
Right.
So that's practically where we're at. But once again, the Quran clarifies, which it does. We're going to have this aside, and again, we'll have to do a welcome center for everybody who accepted the general amnesty to come and become welcome to the, to the reform phase. Because, you left a lot. I mean, you never had a chance to live under Islamic, Quranic, Quranic ruling. You've always lived under mushrikeen, even at your local centers. They're not, you understand. So that's the reason why people will be informed. Once people are informed and they realize that the true Islam has the true benefit. The false Islam, the Jilani Islam in the Iblisi's way, has darkness and falsehood. We haven't gotten anything after 40 years from it. We'll never get anything at the end of the day, especially if we're expecting Jannah. We're not going to get it from this mess. Then people will start to, again, use critical thinking. They will start to, visit other prominent communities, because not every single community is bad. It's just, again, the model that they set up with. People broke off from one masjid to establish another masjid because what they disliked at one masjid. So what happened? They added things on that they would not have to worry about, but they got from the last masjid, and then that turned into a policy, but it had no Quranic, authority. So anyway, but inshallah, we'll talk. We're going to have to continue.
You will. Yes, I got to make some notes so that I can, bring some more things up, because it's just, I always think of stuff.
Oh yeah, keep bringing them up. I'm gonna make sure I put it on the record.